Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Sequel-A-Thon 5. It's a Roman numeral. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the final and the best. That's right. Alvin and the Chipmunks live action movie. Live action. Chipmunk Adventure is still better than this. Yes, this is the best one. This is the one that when I watched it with my son the first time, I was like, that was pretty good. I watched the first one many moons ago, like when I did that review. Whenever that was that TV adaptation week, month, whatever that was that I did. I did it. And then watching the other three today. The other three actually today. This is the best one. It's even better than the first one because I don't know, character growth and shit. This is the only one that does not have David Cross because, as I mentioned with the last one, he went on record bashing that movie, which violated a contract, and they fined him $150,000. Do you think you're gonna come back for the next movie for that? No. The problem is, I think they wrote David Cross into this movie and tried to get him back, and he said, "Fuck you," and they had to replace him with Tony Hale. Because Tony Hale's character in this movie makes no sense. They try to make it make sense, but it doesn't. This dude gets away with going everywhere chasing his chipmunks. He's an air marshal. He doesn't have jurisdiction on the ground. He only has jurisdiction on the air and in his office, but he's chasing these chipmunks all over the place. All because they ruined his relationship because he became so obsessed with them. That's not their fault. You have a problem. His character makes no sense, but if you really think about it, if it was supposed to be David Cross, him chasing them across the country for revenge makes a lot more sense than writing in a totally new character with a totally new reason. That's all I can think of, is they wrote it as David Cross, they approached him, he said, "Go to hell," and they had to rewrite it with a new character, as a new character. That's the only thing that makes sense. The plot, well, Dave is now dating a new girlfriend, and he's got a new client named Ashley, who's played by Bella Thorne before she went tits up, and out. How he got a new client is beyond me, because before, there wasn't the whole thing in the first one that he couldn't write songs for normal people, and it only worked with chipmunks. Wasn't that the whole thing? Yet he can write for this girl, like, apparently, unless he's just a manager. I don't know. But oh no, they find an engagement ring and think Dave's going to propose to his girlfriend and want to stop it. And they're not alone on their quest. I'll get that. I'm going to talk about that when he goes through the plot. But yes. So we start with them recording on a phone a party for Dave and to say goodbye to the Chipettes until the end of the movie when we need them, because they're going to go to be judges for American Idol. Yeah, they're barely in this movie. I don't know. I think that's another reason why it works. Because, like, look at the last two. They were in there. I feel like... Because, like... I don't know. Maybe it's not about the Chipmunks. Or just the Chipmunks. Are they focused on an actual Chipmunks movie? Instead of trying to focus on all 6 of them. Well, I'm clearing my throat a lot because I had a very disastrous Scotty Tries episode that I recorded with some shrimp chips, and it wasn't the fact that they were shrimp chips. The puff got into my throat and I couldn't fucking breathe. I'm not allergic to shrimp. I just kept coughing and couldn't. The video will be up tomorrow, 6 a.m. because I already have something on at 8 a.m. So it's 6, 8, and noon. I have something going up, so yeah. Anyway, so let me get a drink here. Yeah, during this party, it's supposed to be for Dave and a goodbye party for the Chipettes. Keep in mind, Dave's not here, man. So, I don't know. I don't know what the point of them recording this video for Dave is. Dave shows up because he saw on Twitter that hashtag Dave's party was trending. He just assumed it was his. So yeah, we also get a cameo from Red Foo from the Foo Fighters. I know that's not what he's from, but the lady in the movie said it. If you're a kid watching this, that's what you're gonna think. And Dave Grohl's watching this go, fuck you, man. He's not a part of our band, man. No, he's from LMFAO, which stands for Laughing My Ass Off. Or whatever they say it stands for the band. I don't know. Yeah, so he kicks them out, and then he says that he's going to Miami. They immediately start, oh, they're going to take that party. No, they're going to Congo. No, they're not going. They're going to stay there, but he's taking them mini golfing. You know, there's a couple times in this movie, you're in big trouble, so I'm taking you mini golfing tomorrow. It's because he wants to spend as much time with his kids as he can before he takes off for Miami for Ashley's big thing. And we meet his girlfriend, played by Kimberly Williams Paisley, of Father of the Bride fame. And according to Jim. And married to Brad Paisley. Yes, she's a doctor. How can you tell? Because she has a stethoscope around her neck. Because they'd let you leave the hospital with that. Meanwhile, Chipmunks are getting picked on by this kid named Miles. He's 23 years old, but he's supposed to be a teenager, so there. Yes, getting picked on. Wouldn't you know it? Turns out he's her son. Bum, bum, bum. Yes. So after a day of mini golfing, she has to go back to the hopsicle because doctor. And so Dave's got to take care of Miles, and they go back to the house. And they discover that Dave has an engagement ring in his bag. And automatically assume that he's going to propose to his girlfriend. I don't remember her name. And they don't want to have Miles as a brother. Right? Right. Thanks. Right. So Dave is still going to Miami, and he leaves them with Stifler's mom. No, I'm serious. And she gets the first actual funny joke. I laugh at this joke. And probably because it's just Jennifer Coolidge. Dave said to keep my eye on you. I think I'm going to use this one. I laughed. Just because Jennifer Coolidge is the one saying it. But yeah, so once they tell Miles what Dave's planning on doing, they realize they have to stop it. So they replace themselves with some squirrels. No replacement for Miles, though, but they just replace them with squirrels. It works. And they try to board a plane to get to Miami. But Alvin is Alvin, and Theodore releases all the animals that are down in cargo. Why are those kind of animals in there? I don't know. Which infuriates the air marshal, played by Tony Hale. And like I said, I think it was supposed to be Ian. And I don't think he would have been an air marshal per se. I think he would have been on the plane and gotten pissed off at the Chipmunks for grounding the plane and saw this as a moment to get revenge. I think that's what it would have been. But since David Cross said hell no, we got Tony Hale, who's fine, but he crosses the line of jurisdiction with this because he has them in his office and they end up running away. And he gets all pissed because he explains to them that he had a girlfriend and it was Christmas time and they're going to take a picture because he's obsessed with the Chipmunks. She broke up with him. So that's why he hates them and chases them all across the country. Yes, they're also on the no-fly list. So now they're on their own trying to get to Miami still. Right. Hey, that's not what... Okay. And the way they find a bar, which they're not allowed to be in, but because they can sing, they're allowed to be the band. And the air marshal finds them there. Now, to remind you, he's not in his jurisdiction to do anything. But he keeps threatening he's going to arrest them and send them to an animal facility. Well, what is he going to do with Miles? Is he going to let him go? Because that's fucking stupid. What would he do? He's after the Chipmunks. What would he do with Miles? Would he let him go? Because Miles can just tell the cops, hey, you know those famous Chipmunks that sing the song? Right? Well, my mom is dating their dad, Dave, and some crazy air marshal guy just, kidnapped them. They don't know who the Chipmunks are. They're not singing because he wants them to live normal lives. But we haven't seen him in school since the second one. And they're allowing the Chipettes to go do stuff. He's allowing the Chipettes to go do stuff. The Chipmunks have to have normal double standards much? No. They eventually get away and run into the wilderness. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't remember what happens next. Why can't I remember what happens next? At some point, Dave catches up with them. But why? They do a Mardi Gras dance, that ice cold Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. They do that after it's a Mardi Gras thing in New Orleans. And then, because LA to go through New Orleans, I guess. Sure. I don't fucking know. Eventually, Dave finds them. He gets pissed, and he ends up taking them to Miami with him anyway. Everything is... Again, I want to point out some cameos here. I mentioned Bella Thorne. The Crab Man from My Name is Earl, Eddie Steeples, he's in this as the recording tech, who we'll find out he has some sort of arc. I don't know. And Laura Morano plays the second babysitter. And I also mentioned Jennifer Coolidge. But yeah. So they get to the hotel and Dave is pissed. They're both pissed and you're grounded and I have Laura Morano watch him. But here's the thing. When they leave, she's not there. So having spent all this time, Miles has bonded with the Chipmunks. And they bonded with him too. They bonded, But he went to dinner, but he's gonna propose. And Miles was like, well, maybe they just should propose. I had fun with you guys. And Alvin's like, well, he's not gonna be able to do anything without this. He has the ring. But Miles gets all pissed and storms off, and he puts his headphones in and he can't hear anything. He's about to get hit by a car. So they use Theodore as sort of a slingshot. They used it earlier in the movie to do something. They do it here. They're trying to tell us that two chipmunks flinging a fatter chipmunk's gonna have enough power that when it hits Miles, it's gonna knock him out of the way of the car. How fat is Theodore? It works, and Theodore gets hit by the car and doesn't die, even though they played it like he's going to. But he's fine, and they save Miles. So now they actually want to be a family. So they go to the restaurant and are chased by the air marshal again. His name is Suggs. Chases them. They get rid of him in an elevator. After we get the line, here's Suggsy. And then one of the chipmunks says, he's like RoboCop. That doesn't match at all, but whatever. So they finally get to Dave, and they give him the ring, and they say, you can propose if you want, and he's like, I'm not proposing. And she's like, oh, thank God. I'm not ready for that. He's like, neither am I. Turns out, was his recording tech guy, Crabman, who's going to propose to his girlfriend. And Alvin replaced it with a breath mint. and she gets mad at him. And then we cut to him taking him back to the hotel room. I'm like, no, what? No, what happens is Dave gets up, he brings the ring over, he says, it was Alvin's fault, he's sorry, here's the ring. But we don't do that. We go back to the room where they're just in trouble again, and they have to stay in the room again. And they're going to go to Ashley's little performing party thing, her debut party thing. So, we got to get the Chipettes back in this for the finale. So they call the Chipettes, or no, they show up at the audition and let this horrible, horrible singer go to Hollywood so that they can get the Chipettes to come with them for Dave. And they're only doing it for Dave, they say. So, yes, we get the first original song since the first movie. And technically, those were covers of the original version the Chipmunks did, but whatever. Because I can't ever find the original version of this. So what happens is they show up and Ashley's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is a surprise, even to me until now, the Chipmunks." And Dave's like, "What?" And he's like, "We want to apologize to you, Dave. This is for you." And they sing this song, "You are my home. Where I may roam, you are my weary home. You are my home, home, home." Yeah, that's the song. Which I don't think has a real version of it. I couldn't find it anyway. Every time I look, I just get the Chipmunks. But yeah. And this song makes me cry because I'm a dad, right? And it's the kids telling the dad that they love them, and it's a moment. Although Jason Lee's acting could be a little bit better. He's like, wow, really? And, Ashley, what's her name? That's not the other one. Emma, what the fuck is her name? Bella Thorne. There's one point she doesn't look like she even cares. She's like, yeah, I'm supposed to clap along to this, what it looks like. Her and Miles also have a thing. He has a crush on her, and later she asks him to a party. Yeah, he's grounded, but he says he'll go. I guess if he tells him, "Hey, this is a future star, Dave's future star. She wants me to go to the party." Yeah, and everyone's all happy, and they say their goodbyes. They'll meet up later when they get back to Los Angeles. I'm in two minds of this. One, I think it's a nice little conclusion bow on the story, but it doesn't make any sense. So Dave goes to a courthouse. I think they're going to go to jail, but no. He's signing adoption papers for chipmunks. I get it. You can legally adopt any animal, but they're not your children legally. You could say they're your children, but they're not legally your children. They're your pets. But this is a legal adoption that these 3 chipmunk animal creatures are his children. And by the way, I want to point out he adopts them, but not the Chipettes. What? I get it. That's the story that's been going this whole time. Is that first one, he didn't want to be a dad, then he accepted it, but now he's making it official. Sure. But the Chipettes are hung out to dry here, right? Well, they're officially adopted now, and then they go home and they forgot about the squirrels. So we hear Alvin one last time before we go to credits. Psych! We gotta cut back to Suggs, who I guess was in the elevator for days? He's apparently been there so long he stinks, and he's going by the pool. And as soon as he sits down, the guy's like, "Oh, hey, excuse me, this is for customers only." How did you know he wasn't a customer? You could not have known that. There's no way you could have known this guy is a customer just by seeing him sit down and be like, "Hey, it's for customers." He needs to prove he's not a customer first. How did you know? He's like, I had a hell of a day. I was in another all the time. You have to carry me out of here. So he gets the people to carry him out. He's like, fine. I'm Cleopatra. I'm Cleopatra. And that's it. That's how it ends. This is the best one. I say it's pretty good. I like it. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I like it. It's the best one. It is the best one. For me, it will go Squeakquel, Shipwrecked, the first one, and then this one. To be honest, the only thing that was unnecessary, this is the one that has the least unnecessary stuff in it. Besides the first one, I think. But, the only thing I can think of is Suggs. But the only thing I could think to do is replace him with David Cross, which was probably what was supposed to happen. So, yeah, pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on the road chip? Look up so much, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.